I'm Carissa Andrews, international best-selling indie author and CEO of Author Revolution. With more than 15 books published, it's safe to say I have made a ton of mistakes in my endeavor to become a full-time author. The most important thing that I've learned in the past decade is that indie authors need to protect their creativity and their serenity. Being an author is a long game, and that's why I'm on a mission to teach other indies just like you how to publish books with a sustainable, rapid release method. I created the Author Revolution podcast to give you insights and actionable step-by-step strategies to help you do just that. If you're an ambitious author or one in the making who's looking to create a long-term author career and a life you love, you've found your tribe, my friend. Let's get your author revolution underway. Well, hey there, my writerly friend. Welcome back to the Author Revolution podcast. I hope you had a great week worth of writing and getting fun things done. For me, I did a few things that really got me excited for the coming weeks ahead. So first of all, I've been working on my serialized fiction for Kindle Vella. I'm sure you've heard of it. We talked about it a little bit on the podcast. I just recently published my first 3 installments so that they're ready to rock and roll whenever Amazon decides to tell us that they're launching it. It's supposed to be in this coming week, but we haven't been given an official day. So we'll see what happens here, but at least it's ready. I've got a few more episodes or installments waiting in the wings, but I just really haven't done a whole ton on it yet because this is so new and I figure it's kind of like a big trial. So I want to see how it goes before I invest a super ton of time into it. But who knows, if it does really, really well, maybe we'll do something fun with Kindle Vella in the future. Now, in addition to all that stuff, I've been obviously working a lot on amends because we're going to be launching on July 23rd. So Jenny, my PA, and I, we've been doing a lot of launch prep and we've been getting things organized for all of that with promo stacking and fun stuff that's going on into all of this stuff. But in addition, I actually ended up putting my Secret Legacy audiobook on hold so that I can work on Amends audiobook and getting it recorded. So the thought process here was that if it's launching on July 23rd, maybe if I pushed myself, I might be able to get the audiobook done at the same time. So at this point, at the time of this recording, I have 5 more chapters yet to record, and then I just need to master them and upload to Findaway Books. So we're not super far off. Honestly, the hardest part really is the recording since my house is never quiet. We all know this, right? Colin is constantly doing something in my house, or the kids are running around like lunatics. So mastering, of course, takes some time as well because I have to go in and edit out some of the blips and whatever. But at least I can do that even if my house is in chaos, so it's not super terrible. Okay, so now this week, I don't quite know what it's going to look like because I have a lot of fun things on the horizon. But I do know that I'm going to be working on different things like Amends and working on Immortals and this Kindle Vella project. But I've really been thinking, obviously, I've been working on money mindset stuff. I've been digging into Denise Thomas and her money bootcamp, and I've been doing her books. So I've read all of her books, and I've also been reading a couple of other books. But my thought process with all of this has really been, okay, so as an author, as an indie author who's been in the business for 10 years, how can I find ways to really be more profitable than I am already? And it's not to say that I'm not profitable now, because honestly, there have been some major shifts that have happened in this past year that have really catapulted not only my visibility, but I think my profitability as well. And some of that really comes down to putting it more into focus and understanding profitability and what that looks like and how that works. But the question has come up over and over again. Can being an indie publisher, can being an indie author, can self-publishing actually be profitable? And if you would have asked me that, even 5 years ago, I would have said, I'm not sure. I really am not sure, because it seemed like it was always a struggle to try to get the books out there or to get what I thought they really should be earning, because I knew in my heart how I publish and the stories that I write are good. I know they're good. But now, after doing this for as long as I've been doing it, I really can say with honesty, yes, you can be profitable. It's kind of about tweaking your mindset a little bit too, because a lot of people think that you should be, 300 times profitability when you're advertising, for instance. And when you look at that versus a normal business, most businesses are happy with like a 10% or even a 20% ROI. So if their profitability is 10%, they're jumping for joy, where we authors look at 10% and go, what the heck? I just spent $100 to make 110. But whatever the process might be for you, honestly, a profit is profit. And you have to look at it in terms of, okay, how profitable am I, first of all, and how profitable do I really want to become? So honestly, it all comes down to three major things have really shifted my profitability, my visibility, and my royalties in this past probably 2 years, that I can say with certainty that these three things are by far the biggest things that have shifted my profitability since I started this whole process. Now, I'm not going to get into mindset with it because obviously you're going to have some mindset shifts when it comes to doing all of this stuff. But really, when it comes down to it, there are three things that you have to be doing as an indie author in order for you to really make headway and make your author platform profitable. Okay, so tip number 3, we're going to go backwards here. Tip number 3 is promo stacking. Now, we've talked about this in the past with David Goffrin, and we've talked about it in other episodes as well. Promo stacking is basically where you have like a big promo site like BookBub or FreeBooksy, whatever. They are going to promote your books, and then around that big promotion, you're going to have other smaller promotion sites also promoting your book. So it's kind of that market saturation flooding where you're letting everybody know that your book exists. It's out there probably for a discount, because if you're using some of these sites, they do require you to have a discount. And then you're just pushing it out there in your newsletter, in newsletter swaps, in those group giveaways, all sorts of different ways, but you're letting people know through promo sites that your book exists. And then you're getting new readers. And if you've got a series, for example, and you do a series promo, now all of a sudden, you've got people going into maybe the first book, or maybe they buy all 4 books, all 6 books, all 10 books, because they're a series reader. Or maybe they go in through Kindle Unlimited, whatever the case might be. But that's one of the ways that you can become way more visible in your genre and in your market space, because promo stacking not only floods the market through lots of emails, through lots of reader sites, things like that, but you're really just getting a lot of eyes on your books, and you're allowing them to get a little taste of what you are all about in the way that you write. So tip number 2 is actually Amazon ads. Now, we could talk all day long about the difference of ads, BookBub ads, Facebook ads, but when it comes right down to it, for me, profitability-wise, I can say that Amazon ads, hands down, are one of the hugest things that have really shifted, especially this past year, my profitability to be much better than it used to be. Now, one of the things that I have to say here is I've tried Amazon ads in the past, and I know you're probably thinking the same thing. Amazon ads, bane of my existence. Why do I have to do them? They're horrible. But the problem is we as indie authors go into this thing and think that we can just go ahead and advertise and it's going to work. Unfortunately, Amazon ads aren't as intuitive as they should be. Their reporting is definitely not as intuitive as it should be. And there's just a lot of weird quirks all about it. So for me, I've tried different advertising courses. I've done Mark Dawson's, I have done Rebecca Hamilton's, I have done a lot of different courses on the subject. But I have to tell you right now, when it comes to Amazon ads and making sure that you're being profitable and you are getting your stuff out there in a way that really makes a difference, and honestly being able to track that information, understand how to track it in a way that makes sense, I would have to say, hands down, Brian Cohen's Amazon Ad School is the way to go. Now, one of the cool things that I want to mention this week is that starting this week, the 12th of July here, we are actually in the realm of one of their Amazon ad challenges. So if Amazon ads is a bane of your existence like it was with mine, then maybe now's the time to get involved with the new ad challenge. Now, just because if you're hearing this on Wednesday and they started on Monday, don't feel like you can't go back, because you can. And the cool thing about it is that you can come in and you get time to be able to implement the information that they're putting out there. And they have a break in between to let Amazon do its thing, because you can't compare and you can't get good data until it kind of has a couple of days to process the ads that you're creating. So if you want to give it a go and you want to try it, I definitely recommend giving them a try and just checking it out. Their ad challenge is totally free. And if you want to learn more about it, you can go to authorrevolution.org/Amazon ads, and it will get you to a landing page that will let you head right into it and get signed up. Now, like I said, it's totally free, and I have personally taken the ad challenge, 3 or 4 times now, where I am just, every time I learn just something a little bit deeper, something a little bit better that helps me to do my ads in a way that is just that little bit more profitable. Plus, if you decide to join their Amazon Ads school itself, one of the cool things is they have people in there who will let you know what you're doing wrong. Like, you can email them and say, okay, I have set up these ads. This is what's happening. I don't understand why it's not profitable. What can I do to fix it? And they'll tell you. Their support system is absolutely incredible. And it's one of the things that I really appreciate about Brian Cohen's school versus other schools that I've checked out. Now, it's not to say that the other ones are bad per se, and some of them have a lot of other course information, different types of ad platforms that you're going to be digging into. But with Brian Cohen's, if you want to get into Amazon ads itself, and I will tell you that that's where I have seen, in trialing out different ads for books, Amazon ads is where I've seen the biggest profitability. That's where you're going to want to go, is Brian Cohen's Amazon Ad Challenge, and just get in on it for free. It's going on right now. Go give it a try. Then tip number 1, my biggest tip, and you're probably already aware of it. You're probably thinking, okay, this makes sense. It's release more books. Obviously, you can't get profitable off of one book. I mean, you can, but it's going to probably be a small profit. And if you're a new indie author, or if you're someone who doesn't have a lot of money to put behind your books when you're putting them out there, let's say if it is a 10% profitability, well, you'd have to spend $100 in order to make $110. So if you want to make $10,000 and you're only earning a 10% profit, well, obviously you can get there, but you're going to have to spend $100,000 to do it with ads, right? So not everybody is going to be able to make $10,000 by spending that much money. And it's not always the case. I can honestly tell you that my profitability is much better than 10. But you get the point. The bigger your return or your profitability, it's going to kind of depend on how much you actually have to be able to put into your advertising dollars and spend out there. When you have more books, however, and you're able to advertise on more of those books, now all of a sudden you're hitting the market in different ways, and you're hitting different readers in different ways. And so when you're releasing more books, and hopefully you're releasing them in different platforms as well, not just an ebook platform, then all of a sudden, not only do you have, your paperback version and your ebook version, but maybe you have an audio version. So that's 3 books out of the same content. Now all of a sudden, you've got all these different avenues of being able to bring in income, and you're able to be more profitable. And if someone finds you because you're advertising book 1, that's great, because all of a sudden, maybe they'll go through and they'll read all of those other books. That's called read through. And maybe they'll decide to check out your other series. That's the whole part of this process that we talk about with rapid releasing that creates this snowball effect that really encourages the profitability of any indie author. So the more books you have, it just makes sense that the more money you're going to make, even if you're not advertising. Now, I'm a personal believer that in order to really reach the audience that we're trying to reach, and in order to be seen in the way that we want to be seen, we have to advertise. It's just part of the process. You're not going to be found organically, at least not, profitably, by just sitting there and waiting for people to come find you. You have to put yourself out into the world, and you have to kind of put the best foot forward that you possibly can and go from there. When it comes to releasing more books, I personally believe that you should not overwhelm your creativity. You shouldn't do it in a way that is going to put you in a position where you feel overwhelmed, or you put yourself in burnout, or you feel like you can't have a life and you can't enjoy your time with your family or your friends or your kids. Being an indie author should be fun, and being an indie author should have a lot of perks because you can work from home and you can do it whenever you want, and you can do so many different aspects of this stuff without having to go to an office, without having to spend money on gas, without having to ask a boss whether or not you can, take time off, whatever. You are in control of all of that stuff. But you have to be a good boss for yourself. And the way that I teach in Rapid Release Roadmap how to do that is by structuring your year deliberately, by knowing that you're going to be publishing 4 books a year. You're going to plan all that stuff out. You're going to know what has to happen in advance. So you're not just like flying by the seat of your pants going, I'm going to write this book this year. And then maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. When you have an editorial calendar and you know what your plan is, you're more likely to stick to it. And remember Parkinson's law, work will expand to fit the time allotted for it. So when we give ourselves a quarter to write and publish a book, that's what we're giving ourselves. So you need to make sure that you are staying on a plan, whether it's Rapid Release Roadmap or whether it's your own concoction. The goal is to really make sure that you are doing it in a way that is sustainable and feels good to you. Okay? Gone are the days, in my personal opinion, of killing yourself and writing, nonstop every single day of your life and trying to publish a book a month. I think I have seen so many authors go completely nuts over this kind of insanity. It really is insanity in my mind. And so I want you to really think about, how can you release more books, but do it in a way that works really great for you and your family and the way that you want to live your life. Now, one of the brand new things that I'm actually working on for Author Revolution here is a 3-day Plan Your Series challenge. It was kind of inspired a little bit by Brian Cohen's Amazon ad challenge in the fact that it's a challenge for starters, but I really wanted to come up with something that was a lot of fun and that helps my community, our community, come together in a way where we can get more words on the page and get going. Honestly, we've had a lot of people in our group say that the biggest challenge that they've had this summer is getting words on the page. And so I want to kick this off by creating this challenge. We're going to start on August 2nd and it's going to end August 4th. So here's the thing. I'm actually gearing up right now to begin a brand new 6-week writing sprint for Immortals, which is book 3 of the Diana Hawthorne series. And I figured, what better way to keep myself accountable and have fun with our community than to kick it off with this type of challenge, right? So if you've been struggling to get words on the page this summer, or heck, maybe even this year, it's time for you to join me as we dive into my best tips for planning a series to get up and running fast. Now, this free challenge will be launched inside a brand new pop-up Facebook group. So if you're interested in joining me, all you need to do is head over to authorrevolution.org/plan your series. Now, this is the first time I'm doing this sucker, so let's see if we can make it really super fun for everybody who's involved. I know I could use the writerly motivation and support, and maybe you can too. Now, as always, you know how all this goes. If you'd like to download today's transcript or get links to some of the things we discussed here today, like more information on Brian Cohen's Amazon ad challenge or this new 3-day Plan Your Series challenge, head over to authorrevolution.org/89. You'll find everything you need to get started all in one lovely place. Now, don't forget, if you want to start out your author career with a clear roadmap to success, you're also invited to join me inside Rapid Release Roadmap at any time. It's my signature course. I teach you how to plan, write, publish, and promote those 4 books a year. And I want you to really embrace this power of a prolific author mindset so that you can steer that author career to earn more royalties, to be more profitable. And it's all about investing in yourself and in your bright future as an indie author. Now, all you have to do for that is head over to rapidreleaseroadmap.com and enroll today to get started. Remember, I'm here. I'm with you every step of the way. And in the meantime, I want you to go forth and start your author revolution.